Do you create stitch videos because you want to grow your fan base using TikTok? And many of the experts in the field recommend the feature. But as a musician, it's difficult for you to find videos to stitch. And when you do find one, you don't even know what to do with it. If any of that sounds familiar, you're in the right place. I'm Robin Marks, TikTok coach for musicians. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to find videos to stitch and what to actually come up with in terms of ideas for your videos so you can grow your account and your fan base today. Make sure you stick around until the end of the video because I'm going to share the bonus tip of the week. Now let's talk stitches. Like, what is a stitch? Just for my newcomers to TikTok, it's simply you stitching or sewing a piece of content on top of another piece of content, specifically about 5 seconds or less of an existing video. So what we're going to do today is not just talk about what a stitch is, because I know you can find a video about that, and you could probably also find a video about, what kind of videos you want to stitch. I'm going to actually teach you how to create a process to create viral videos using the stitch feature. So one thing I would mention is that you're going to get recommendations from many gurus and experts on TikTok about using stitches. And that's important to note that people are leaning into this feature more so than some of the other ones. There are always going to be new TikTok features coming out. So you have to kind of keep your finger on the pulse of the culture to make sure that you don't miss something. And if you tune into these videos and you tune into my podcast, you're going to definitely stay on point and ahead of the curve in terms of those kinds of updates. So how do you find a video to stitch? So for me as a producer, when I first got on TikTok, it was really hard for me to find a video. I would scroll my For You page and I would look for videos, and it would be like this kind of video, that kind of video, nothing that really sunk in to what I was trying to represent or that was in line with my message. And doing the beat making video, trying to get someone to duet on, one of my beats, or me even finding an acapella performance from an act and like building a beat around it. It was just so much work and it was so time consuming that I really didn't have the capacity or the bandwidth to even process and like dedicate to that. You know what I'm saying? So what I did was I reached out to my mentor. I've been blessed to have a TikTok mentor. His name is Roz Hendricks. He's a successful TikToker. He's got to be at least 3 million followers right now. Like last week, he was at 2.9 million, secured a bunch of different brand deals. He's like, TikTok is his job right now, right? And he mentored me and put me on the game. And one thing that I would say is that once I got that information from a valid source and a credible source, someone who had a proven track record with the app, you know what I'm saying, to teach me, it made a lot of sense. So what do you need to do to find the video? To find a stitch, what you want to do is have these 2 bits of basic criteria in mind. And once you do that, you can just scroll your For You page. And once videos hit those criteria marks or have those particular things in the video, then you know that you can stitch that piece of content. So the first thing is, it seems like a no-brainer, but you'd be surprised how many people don't pay attention to this. You want to stitch high-performing videos. You want to stitch high-performing videos. Why? Because if you go through your For You page and it's a really cute cat video that you're like, oh my God, I gotta stitch that video, I gotta do it. And it has like, 100 views, 20 likes or whatever it is. Like, it might be fun for your creative process, and I wouldn't knock you for doing that, but you're here because you want to grow a fan base. You're here because you're a musician who wants to grow a fan base using TikTok to anchor and leverage, that mission. So with that said, you want to make sure that you're attaching your account and the videos that you are creating with the stitch feature to viral content, existing viral content. So if a video has, millions of views, I would say your threshold should be like at least 1 million views and at least 500,000 likes. You know what I'm saying? If you could have a video that has 1 million views and 500,000 likes, or more, then that's kind of where you want to be. You want to say, okay, now that I see that video and it's a high performing video, now I know I can check to see if it meets the next criteria item. Okay. So the second thing you want to look for is the video in line with your brand and your values. So you want to be very careful with this. I see many people jump on videos to stitch because they're like super controversial, or there's like some crazy shock value to it, like an explosion or whatever it may be, a boat sinking, like crazy stuff like that. And I would say is that you don't want to stitch videos that contain any violence, any profanity, anything that is maybe too far from what you do. Now, if your brand is in line with like violence, profanity, I would say on TikTok, I would find different ways to create your videos, because community guideline violations, if you're not familiar with it, it's totally a thing on TikTok, unlike the Instagrams and the Facebooks of the world, Twitter. You don't have to be a really big personality like the former president to get a violation on Twitter or on TikTok, I should say. You know what I'm saying? It's like small creators get dinged and get tickets essentially. And if you get enough tickets, it compromises your account and the health of your account, and could lead to your views being suppressed and also eventually getting your account permanently banned. So you could put in a bunch of work, build up an account to 20, 30, 40,000 followers, 100,000 followers, 1 million followers, and just in the blink of an eye, snap of a finger, it can be taken away because you're not paying attention to the types of videos you're aligning with, or even the content that you're creating, which could be a whole nother video, but or a whole nother podcast episode too. So make sure that it's in line with your values and that you're not at risk of violating any community guidelines, because the last thing you want to do is get hit with a violation. I would say on top of that, that sometimes people stitch videos, right? The main video, because it's a really big creator, is up and running and getting traction, but your video that you stitched, the video that you created from that video that you stitched, you would get the violation and have your video removed, and you'll appeal it and be like, hey, like what happened? Like, theirs is still up, and it doesn't matter, So I would say to you, especially a small creator, if you're just starting out, stay away from violence, stay away from drugs, I sound like a counselor, right, at an after school program. Stay away from drugs, stay away from sex and violence. No, I'm serious. For your videos on TikTok, try to keep it a little cleaner than you might have on other platforms, okay? So those are the two things you need to look for to find a video. So now we know how to find a TikTok video to stitch. But I want to quickly just ask you, if you can, and if you're finding some value in this video, take time to subscribe to the channel. And also, if you are listening to this, wherever you're listening, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, please subscribe and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's a big deal, guys. If you're getting value, this is free content. It would mean the world to me if you could go over to Apple Podcasts and just leave us a 5-star review. Now that we know how to find the stitch, I'm going to tell you how to come up with stitch ideas. How do you come up with stitch ideas? The first thing you want to do is really analyze the first 5 seconds of the video. I think oftentimes people find the video that has a bunch of views, it's also in line with their brand and in line with their values, and they're ready to jump on it, and then they spend however many minutes analyzing the whole video. I'm telling you that the most important part of finding out what you're going to do with a video that you intend on stitching is the first 5 seconds of the video. And I'll tell you why. The reason the video is a viral video, because if you follow the criteria, it has to be a big viral video, is because it had a strong hook. It's a fact that whatever video you're looking at right now that has the views and is in line with your values, chances are it has a really strong hook, and the hook occurs in the first 5 seconds of the video, and that's what brings people in. So what you're pretty much doing is piggybacking off of a strong hook. So I'm almost like, borrowing or stealing their hook for my video. So what you want to do is really analyze not the whole video, but just the first 5 seconds of the video, just the first 5 seconds of the video. And what you want to do is once you get that 5 seconds, you want to figure out ways that you could weave in your message. Once you analyze the 5 seconds, you want to find out ways that you could weave in your message. So you don't want to be totally off topic. So like if it's a video about airplanes, you don't want to just take the first 5 seconds of this airplane revving up to go and then cut and just be like, buy my new album's out. I hit the link in the bio. Like, that's not what you want to do. You want to be creative in terms of the messaging that you're using, and have a clear call to action in terms of what you're trying to do with the video, but you don't want to just ignore the fact that something happened in the first 5 seconds of the video. You know what I'm saying? So what I would do in the plane example, I would, if a jet was taking off, it would cut off, it would go, and I would say, I would come in and say something like, oh, man, I got to go catch this plane because we about to take off, just like this new product that I'm offering, hit the link in the bio if you're interested, something like that. And, I think what happens is people get stuck at, oh my God, what do I do? I would say, don't put too much pressure on yourself and don't, overthink it. Like, you're going to procrastinate and you're going to waste time. What I would do is focus on what your key message is. Can you guys hear that? Is that a cricket? Focus on your key message. If you can do that, then it'll be cake for you, okay? The second thing you want to do when you're coming up with ideas for your stitches is answer questions or finish sentences. Answer questions or finish sentences. So it's almost like if you get a video that's viral and it's in line with your values and people are talking, cut the video in a place where you could, inject yourself into the scene, if you will. You can put yourself into the action. You know what I'm saying? So if they're saying something about cars, whatever it is, then you can like jump right in, connecting cars to what you're doing with your music, if that makes sense. And again, I could give you more specific examples. If you send me a DM on Instagram with a link to a video you're interested in stitching, as a courtesy to you, I'll give you a couple of ideas just to help out, to start you out. But just know that the two big things you need to do in terms of coming up with the ideas, you want to analyze the first 5 seconds of the video and weave in your message. And the second thing is you want to answer a question or finish a sentence and continue the conversation. So find a section of the video where you can kind of jump in, or find videos where the intro is like a question and then you can answer the question, okay? So at the beginning of the video, I promised you a bonus tip at the beginning of the podcast episode. I guess that's one of the things about doing a YouTube podcast is like, I gotta be aware that people are listening and people might be watching, but whatever. So the bonus tip of the week, it's called the jump start method. The jump start method. So you know how it is. Like, you might be driving, and it doesn't happen so much these days because cars are so advanced. But back in the day, your battery will always die. You would leave your lights on, and then your battery would die, and then you would try to start your car up, and it would, right? And then you're like, yo, you got some jumper cables? Hey, like, yo, can I get a jump? Can I get a jump? Right? Like, if you from the old school, you know what that feels like. And what I have found on TikTok, specifically with stitches, is that you can use stitches to jump start your video, to jump start it, to get it going. And one of my community members, her name is Lit Brit, she did this, or does this like a pro, masterfully executes this strategy. I don't think we've coined that phrase. This might be the first time that we said the jumpstart method on record, but we've talked about this for the last few months, watching her account grow. I think she's at about 30,000 followers right now. She started from zero a few weeks ago, maybe 8 weeks ago. I think less than that. But anyway, so this is what you do. Once you analyze that first 5 seconds, you analyze that hook. What you want to do is, just like I said before, you want to finish the sentence, you want to weave in your message. However, what you want to do is clearly clearly and directly take that content from that first 5 seconds and use it as a springboard to jump into your message. I'll give you an example. So let's say there was a group of elephants on a video. There's a group of elephants on a video. And for 5 seconds, you see the elephants coming at you. And as it cuts, you can jump in. You ever feel like life is like a bunch of elephants crashing towards you? I feel like that sometimes, and I want to help you get through it. If you're interested in learning more, follow me for more, something like that, and taking that first 5 seconds and not just weaving it in or finishing the sentence, but actually like extending that message, but using your content or your brand, mission statement, if you will, as kind of like the body, the meat and potatoes of what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? And that could be for your beats. It could be like, the elephants are coming, and it can be, if you're a producer and you make beats, the elephants are coming, and you could say, cut, and it comes in, and it's like, wait a minute. Do you feel like when you're making beats that it feels like a bunch of elephants are like rumbling in the studio? That's how my 808s bang. Hit the link and follow, or hit the link to buy some beats, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way I want you to look at it if you're going to try this jump start method. Okay. So that's pretty much it, man. I'm super hyped that you took the time to spend with me today and hang out. And I'm super pumped about everything that's happening. One more thing I want to share with you. We just launched our TikTok for Musicians private Facebook group, and we'd like to invite you to come check us out and apply to join. Basically, all you need to do is go to bit.ly/FB TikTok group. That's bit.ly/FB TikTokGroup. Okay. So just please go over to Facebook, join us. We got 50 new members in 1 week. Like, it's growing fast. It's so exciting. So many amazing musicians in there. It's all musicians. We have a Grammy Award winner in there. We got people who are just starting their career in there, getting advice from each other. It's just a warm and friendly place to be. So with that being said, you are a one-of-a-kind creation with the ability to shape lives with your unique gifts and talents. I appreciate you being here with me. Until next time, talk to you soon.